The silver research ship hung silently above Earth, hidden behind advanced cloaking technology. Inside, lead researcher Zix-427 stood before the Council of Galactic Studies through a holographic link. Their blue crystalline forms sparkled under the ship's lights as they made their case. Earth presents us with a unique opportunity, Zix-427 said, gesturing to the blue planet below. Humans show signs of resilience that go beyond our current understanding. They live in deserts, frozen wastelands, and even floating cities on their oceans. No other species we've studied shows this level of adaptability. The council members murmured among themselves. The head of the council, a tall being with flowing tendrils of light, spoke up. Out of 12,000 studied species, what makes these humans so special? Zix-427 pulled up various images of human activities: mountain climbing, deep sea diving, and space exploration. They actively seek out challenges. While other species avoid danger, humans seem drawn to it. They climb their highest mountains simply because they exist. The council granted approval for the study, and Zix-427 wasted no time. They assembled their research team: behavioral expert Clon-89, environmental specialist Youth-15, and psychological analyzer Wen-664. Their first task was selecting a primary subject for their study. After weeks of observation, they found him. Kevin Wright, a 32-year-old construction worker from Portland, caught their attention. He worked on skyscrapers, showing no fear at heights that would terrify most humans. More importantly, he had already shown remarkable recovery from life's challenges. Subject Kevin Wright lost his home in a natural disaster 2 years ago. Zix-427 told their team, displaying Kevin's history. Instead of leaving the area, he stayed and helped rebuild his community. He then used his savings to help his elderly neighbors repair their homes before his own. The team watched Kevin through their monitoring devices as he worked on the 47th floor of a new building. The wind was strong that day, but Kevin moved confidently along the steel beams, helping guide a large section of wall into place with his crew. Notice how he checks on his coworkers regularly, Clon-89 observed. He shows protective behavior even while in a dangerous situation himself. The aliens were particularly interested in how Kevin handled problems. That very afternoon, they got to see it firsthand. A cable securing some equipment started to fray. Kevin spotted the danger, quickly organized his team, and they managed to secure the heavy machinery before it could fall. Remarkable problem-solving speed, Youth-15 noted. No panic, just immediate action. The research team decided to run their first control test. They used their technology to create a small challenge, nothing dangerous, but difficult enough to observe Kevin's response. They caused a minor equipment malfunction in his work area. Kevin approached the malfunctioning equipment, studied it carefully, and began trying different solutions. He didn't give up when his first attempts failed. Instead, he called over a coworker, and together they figured out an unconventional but effective fix. "Did you see that?" Wen-664 asked excitedly. He not only solved the problem but improved the system. The solution they created is 23% more efficient than the original design. Zix-427 was pleased. This confirms our initial observations, but we need more subjects to study different aspects of human resilience. They expanded their search and found Laura Martinez, a deep-sea welder working on underwater structures. She regularly handled pressures that would crush most species, yet she did her job with remarkable calm and precision. Two primary subjects with completely different specialties, Zix-427 said, updating their research logs. This will give us a broader understanding of human adaptability. The research team prepared more complex tests, eager to understand the limits of human resilience. But they had no idea that their subjects would soon shatter every preconception they had about species limitations. As Zix-427 looked down at Earth that evening, they felt a growing excitement. In all their centuries of research, they had never encountered a species quite like humans, Something told them this study would change not just their understanding of humanity, but of life itself. Begin Phase 2 preparations, they ordered their team. I have a feeling these humans are going to surprise us in ways we can't even imagine. The alien research ship's testing chamber hummed with energy as ZX-427 and their team prepared for their first controlled experiment. They had carefully designed a series of challenges to test their human subjects' limits. Kevin Wright woke up in what looked like his apartment, but something felt different. The air seemed slightly thicker, and the colors weren't quite right. He got ready for work as usual, not knowing he was actually in an alien simulation chamber. Beginning Test Sequence 1, ZX-427 announced. Adjusting environmental conditions. The temperature in Kevin's simulated environment slowly began to rise. What started as a warm day quickly became uncomfortably hot. The aliens watched as Kevin adapted. He removed his jacket, drank more water, and adjusted his work pace. Even when the temperature reached levels that would make most species quit, Kevin kept working. Fascinating, Klon89 noted. He's not just enduring the heat, he's actively finding ways to work around it. Meanwhile, in another testing chamber, Laura Martinez faced her own challenges. The aliens had recreated a deep-sea environment, but added unexpected complications. The water pressure fluctuated randomly, and visibility dropped to near zero. Laura stayed calm. She developed a system of touch-based navigation and used the sound of her equipment to gauge distances. The aliens were shocked when she not only completed her welding task, but did it faster than their calculations suggested possible. Their problem-solving abilities exceed our models, Youth 15 reported, analyzing the data. They don't just overcome obstacles, they create new methods we hadn't considered. The research team decided to increase the difficulty. They introduced equipment failures, navigation challenges, and complex puzzles that required creative thinking. Kevin had to figure out how to secure a damaged structure with limited tools. Laura needed to find a way out of a maze-like underwater structure with a failing oxygen system. Look at this, Wen 664 called out, pointing to their monitors. Their stress levels are elevated, but their focus actually improves under pressure. It's the opposite of what we see in most species. Kevin surprised them by turning a broken support beam into a makeshift bridge. Laura discovered she could use air bubble patterns to navigate the maze. Neither solution had been in the aliens' probability calculations. We need to record this, ZX-427 said excitedly. They're showing innovation patterns we've never seen before. The next test combined physical and mental challenges. The environments began shifting unpredictably. Kevin found himself having to climb through unstable structures while solving mathematical puzzles. Laura had to handle complex underwater repairs while memorizing changing sequences of signals. What amazed the aliens most was how the humans seemed to get stronger as the challenges got harder. Instead of wearing down, they became more determined. Their resilience appears to be exponential, Youth 15 observed. The more difficult the challenge, the more resourceful they become. By the end of the day, both humans had completed tasks that the alien scientists had rated as nearly impossible. They had not only survived the tests, but had found ways to excel at them. Prepare the data for analysis, ZX-427 ordered, and schedule more complex scenarios for tomorrow. I want to understand the source of this extraordinary adaptability. As the humans were safely returned to their regular environments, their memories of the tests carefully hidden, the alien research team gathered to discuss their findings. We may need to recalibrate our entire understanding of species capabilities, Klon89 suggested. These humans, they're something different. ZX-427 looked at the test results one more time. The humans had scored higher than any species they had ever studied, but something told them this was just the beginning. Tomorrow, they announced to their team, we'll see how they handle real challenges. No more simulations. It's time to test their true limits. The research ship's lights dimmed as they prepared for the next day's experiments. none of them realizing that their human subjects were about to show them something even more extraordinary than mere survival skills. The alien research ship's systems flashed with warning lights. Zix-427 had just added 2 new test subjects to their study: Charlie Baker, who taught people how to survive in the wilderness, and Michelle Thompson, a former runner who had won many races. "Today's tests will be different," Zix-427 told their team. "We'll observe how humans handle unexpected problems." The 4 humans were placed in separate testing rooms. Each room looked like a normal gym, with exercise equipment and bright lights. The aliens watched through hidden cameras, ready to record everything. But something went wrong. One of the ship's power cores started to overheat. Red warning lights flashed across all screens. The safety systems that kept the testing rooms stable began to fail. "Emergency shutdown," Zix-427 ordered, but the computers didn't respond. In the testing rooms, the humans noticed things changing. The air got thinner, the lights flickered, strange noises came from the walls. But instead of panicking, they stayed calm. Kevin Wright, the construction worker, quickly checked all the doors and walls. Michelle Thompson helped him look for ways out. Charlie Baker started gathering anything useful he could find, while Laura Martinez worked on understanding the room's layout. "They're not showing fear," Clon 89 observed with surprise. "They're organizing themselves." The situation got worse. A small fire started in the ship's control room. 2 junior alien researchers were trapped behind a wall of smoke. The emergency systems still weren't working. Then something unexpected happened. The humans found a way to communicate between their testing rooms by tapping on the walls. They worked out a simple code and shared information about their situations. "Look at this teamwork," Youth 15 said. "They've never met each other, but they're working together perfectly." The humans discovered that the walls between their rooms had weakened. Working together, they managed to break through. Kevin and Laura used their knowledge of building structures to make safe paths. Charlie used his survival skills to help everyone breathe in the thinning air. Michelle's athletic training helped them move quickly and safely. But what happened next shocked the aliens even more. Instead of trying to escape, the humans followed the sounds of distress coming from the control room. They had somehow figured out that others were in danger. "They're coming to help us," Wen 664 asked in disbelief. "But they don't even know who we are." The humans broke into the control room. Kevin and Laura worked on controlling the fire. Charlie helped the trapped alien researchers breathe through the smoke. Michelle found the emergency power controls and, through trial and error, managed to turn them on. "This is impossible," Clon 89 said. "They're risking their lives for a species they've never seen before." Within minutes, the humans had helped put out the fire, save the trapped researchers, and stabilize the ship's systems. They stood in the control room, finally face to face with the alien research team. Instead of showing fear or anger at being test subjects, they immediately asked if everyone was okay. "Are there any more people who need help?" Kevin asked, looking around the room with concern. Zix-427 stepped forward, their crystal form glowing with amazement. "You helped us," they said, "even though we were testing you without your knowledge." Charlie Baker smiled. Someone was in trouble. That's all we needed to know. The alien research team looked at each other. Their study had just changed completely. They had planned to test human resilience, but instead they had discovered something even more remarkable: human compassion. "I think," Zix-427 said slowly, "we need to rewrite our entire understanding of human capabilities." As the emergency lights turned off and normal power returned, the aliens realized they weren't just studying human resilience anymore. They were learning about the true nature of humanity itself. After the emergency incident, the alien researchers changed their approach. Now that the humans knew about them, Zix-427 decided to be open about their tests. But they still wanted to understand human limits. "We need to see how they handle situations that would break most species," ZX-427 told the council during their update meeting. With their permission, of course. The council agreed, and a new round of tests began. The team added another human to their study, Peter Collins, a retired firefighter who had saved many lives during his career. The first new test placed all 5 humans in what looked like a collapsed building. The room was dark, the air was dusty, and they could hear walls creaking around them. They had to find a way out while helping injured robot survivors. Most species would focus only on their own survival, Clon 89 said, watching the monitors. But the humans proved different. Peter took charge, using his firefighter experience. He split them into teams. Kevin and Laura checked the building's stability. Michelle ran messages between groups, and Charlie helped Peter with the injured robots. Their stress levels are high, when 664 reported, but they're still thinking clearly. The aliens made the test harder. They dropped the temperature, added more obstacles, and increased the number of robots needing help. The humans were tired, cold, and running out of supplies. Then something remarkable happened. They started telling jokes. Why are they laughing? Youth 15 asked, confused. The situation is getting worse. Peter explained it later. Keeping spirits up is as important as keeping warm. Happy people work better together. The next test was even tougher. The humans faced a flooded chamber with rising water levels. They had to solve complex puzzles to open escape routes while keeping themselves and others safe. This would cause panic in 98% of known species, Clon 89 said. Instead, the humans formed a line. While Laura used her underwater experience to work on lower puzzles, the others created a human chain to help robot survivors reach dry areas. They even sang songs to help everyone stay calm. Their strength seems to grow when they support each other, ZX-427 noted with amazement. The final test of the day pushed them to their physical limits. The chamber simulated high gravity, making every movement difficult. The air grew thin, and the temperature kept changing between very hot and very cold. The aliens watched as the humans refused to give up. When Peter got too tired to walk, Kevin and Michelle helped him. When Charlie started feeling hopeless, Laura told him stories about tough times she had overcome. Look at these readings, when 664 said excitedly. They're sharing their strength somehow. When one gets weak, the others make up for it. Even after hours of testing, the humans kept going. They not only finished their tasks, but asked if anyone else needed help before they stopped. We don't understand, ZX-427 told them afterward. Our calculations said these tests were impossible to complete. Nothing's impossible if you work together, Peter said simply. We're not going to leave anyone behind, no matter how hard it gets. The alien research team spent hours studying their results. The humans had shown something they called group resilience, the ability to become stronger by supporting each other. We need to study this more, ZX-427 decided. There's something about human connections that goes beyond physical and mental strength. As they prepared for the next day's tests, the aliens realized they were learning more than just facts about human endurance. They were discovering the power of human spirit, something their scientific instruments couldn't measure. The humans, tired but proud, rested in their quarters. They didn't know it yet, but their biggest challenge was still to come. The alien research ship buzzed with excitement as 2 new humans joined the study. Amy Davidson, a trauma surgeon who worked in busy hospitals, and Daniel Foster, who explored deep caves as his job, arrived at the testing chambers. 7 humans now, ZX-427 said to their team. Today we'll study how they work as a larger group. The aliens had created their biggest challenge yet, a huge maze-like space with many rooms. Some rooms were very hot, others very cold. Some had too little air, and others were filled with puzzles that needed solving. Let's see how they organized themselves, Clon 89 said, watching the monitors closely. The humans gathered in the first room. Instead of rushing into action, they sat in a circle and talked. Each person shared what they were good at and what they found difficult. "Why are they waiting?" Youth 15 asked. "The clock is running." But the aliens soon understood. The humans were making a plan that used everyone's strengths. Amy, used to quick decisions from her hospital work, became their leader. Daniel used his cave mapping skills to help them understand the maze. The group split into teams. Kevin and Laura handled rooms with broken equipment. Charlie and Michelle tackled the physical challenges. Peter helped everyone stay calm, while Amy and Daniel worked on the harder puzzles. "Look how they check on each other," Wen 664 noted. "They never leave anyone alone for too long." The aliens added more challenges. They made some paths disappear. They changed the puzzles. They even turned off the lights in some rooms, but the humans adapted quickly. When they found a room that was too cold, they huddled together for warmth while solving its challenges. When they needed to cross a wide gap, they made a human chain to help each other across. When someone felt scared or tired, the others told encouraging stories or jokes to help them feel better. "They're making tools," Clon 89 said with surprise. The humans had found ways to use simple things around them to solve problems. They tied their jackets together to make ropes. They used their shoes to prop open heavy doors. They even created a simple code of knocks to talk between rooms. "This is not possible," Youth 15 said, checking their calculations again. These problems were designed to be too hard to solve. But the humans kept proving the aliens wrong. When Amy got tired from thinking through tough puzzles, Daniel taught everyone a song he used while exploring caves. When Charlie felt homesick, Laura told funny stories about her underwater adventures. They turned their rest breaks into planning sessions and their hardships into jokes they all shared. "There's something we're missing," Zix 427 said, watching the humans celebrate after solving a particularly hard room. "Their power isn't just in their bodies or minds. It's in how they connect with each other." The aliens ran more tests. They tried separating the humans, but the humans always found ways to work together again. They made the challenges harder, but the humans just became more creative and supportive of each other. By the end of the day, the humans had completed every challenge the aliens created. They were tired but happy, sharing stories and laughing together in the rest area. "I think we need to add a new category to our research," Zix 427 told their team. "Something we've never studied before: human friendship." As the humans rested, the alien scientists reviewed their notes. They had expected to study human strength and cleverness. Instead, they were learning about trust, teamwork, and the power of working together. "Prepare for tomorrow's tests," Zix 427 ordered. "But this time, let's see what happens when they face a real emergency, something even we don't control." Little did they know, that emergency would come sooner than they planned. Nobody on the alien research ship expected anything to go wrong that day. Zix 427 was showing their results to the Galactic Council when the first alarm sounded. "Something's wrong with the ship's main power core," Youth 15 called out, their crystal form flashing with worry. "It's not just overheating this time. It's becoming unstable." The 7 humans were in their rest area when they felt the ship shake. Red lights flashed everywhere, and a deep rumbling sound filled the air. "This isn't another test, is it?" Kevin asked, looking at the worried faces of the alien crew. "No," Zix 427 admitted. "Our ship's power core is failing. We have less than 1 hour before it explodes." Instead of panicking, the humans quickly gathered around a table. Amy, the surgeon, took charge again. "Okay, what do we know about the problem?" she asked the aliens. Clon 89 explained that the power core was deep inside the ship. The paths to reach it were either too hot from radiation or blocked by fallen equipment. The ship's safety systems had failed, and the escape pods couldn't launch. "We need 2 teams," Laura said, drawing a quick map based on what the aliens told them. "One team to fix the core, another to get the escape pods working. The humans divided themselves based on their skills. Kevin, Laura, and Daniel would try to reach the power core. They knew the most about fixing complex equipment. Amy, Peter, Charlie, and Michelle would work on the escape pods and help any injured crew members. This is beyond dangerous. When 664 warned them, the radiation levels near the core are lethal to most species. We're not most species, Kevin said with a small smile. We're human, and we're not letting anyone die today. The first team moved quickly through the ship's hot corridors. Daniel used his cave exploration experience to find safe paths through the damaged areas. Kevin and Laura worked together to move fallen beams and repair damaged doors. Meanwhile, the second team discovered why the escape pods wouldn't launch. The control system was locked by a complicated security program. While Amy and Peter helped injured alien crew members, Charlie and Michelle worked on solving the security puzzle. Their body temperatures are rising to dangerous levels, Clon 89 reported, watching the team near the power core. But the humans kept going. When they reached the core room, they found it filled with deadly radiation. The aliens thought they would turn back. Instead, Kevin wrapped himself in special protective materials they had gathered on the way. "I can handle the heat best," he said. "Guide me through the repairs from here." Laura and Daniel helped direct Kevin using the ship's cameras. Even though he was burning with fever from the radiation, Kevin's hand stayed steady as he worked on the core. 20 minutes until critical failure, Youth 15 announced. In the escape pod bay, Michelle finally cracked the security system. "Pods are ready," she called through the communication system. "But we're not leaving without everyone." Kevin finished the repairs with just 5 minutes left. The core began to cool down, but he could barely walk. Laura and Daniel helped carry him back through the ship. "The core is stable," Zix 427 announced, their voice full of amazement. They did it. They actually did it. When both teams met back in the main hall, the aliens watched in surprise as the humans hugged each other and checked if everyone was okay. They seemed more worried about others than proud of what they had done. "Why?" Zix 427 asked them later. "Why risk your lives for us? We were just studying you." "Because that's what humans do," Amy said simply. "When there's an emergency, we help. It doesn't matter who needs the help or why." The alien research team looked at their data screens. All their careful tests and studies hadn't shown them as much about humans as this one real crisis had. "I think," Zix 427 said quietly, "we've been studying the wrong thing all along." 3 days after the ship crisis, Zix 427 stood before the full Galactic Council. The 7 humans sat in a special viewing area, now honored guests rather than test subjects. Kevin had fully recovered from the radiation exposure, thanks to both human and alien medical care. "Distinguished council members," Zix 427 began, their crystal form glowing with excitement, "I must completely change our research findings about humans." The council chamber grew quiet. Changing research findings was rare in their scientific community. The head of the council leaned forward, interested. "We started this study to measure human resilience," Zix 427 continued. "We thought we could understand humans through tests and numbers. We were wrong." Images appeared in the air around them, showing the humans during their various challenges. The council watched as the scenes played out. The teamwork, the problem-solving, the rescue during the power core crisis. Humans are not just physically strong or mentally tough. Clon 89 added, stepping forward. "They have something we've never seen before, something we can't measure." The research team showed their original test results. They explained how the humans had solved problems that their best computers said were impossible. They showed how human performance actually improved under pressure instead of breaking down. But the most important discovery came during the real emergency, Youth 15 said. "When our ship was in danger, they risked their lives to save us, the very people who had been testing them without their permission." When 664 brought up the medical readings from the crisis. Look at Kevin Wright's vital signs while he fixed the core. According to our science, he should have collapsed. But he kept going. Amy stood up in the viewing area. "May I say something?" she asked politely. The council nodded, curious to hear from a human directly. "You've been trying to understand human resilience by breaking it down into small pieces," Amy said. "But that's like trying to understand an ocean by looking at single drops of water. Our strength comes from something bigger." The other humans nodded in agreement. Peter spoke next. "We're strong because we care about each other. We're tough because we know others are counting on us. We solve impossible problems because we believe we can. And we never give up," Laura added, "because there's always someone who needs help, someone worth fighting for." 427 turned back to the council. "We must create a new category in our species database. Humans can't be measured by our old standards. They have shown us that real resilience isn't about surviving. It's about helping others survive too." The council members discussed among themselves. Finally, their leader spoke. "Based on these findings, we hereby classify humans as an exceptional species. Their ability to combine physical endurance, mental adaptability, and what they call hope makes them unique in our galaxy." But Charlie smiled and shook his head. "You still don't quite get it," he said kindly. "We're not exceptional. We're just human. Everything we did here, the teamwork, the problem-solving, the helping others, that's just what humans do." Michelle nodded. "Anyone from Earth would have done the same thing. That's not exceptional to us. That's just being human." Daniel added, "And the best part is, we can teach these things to others. We can share our ways of working together and helping each other." 427 looked at their research team, then back at the humans. "Then perhaps," they said slowly, "that is our next study. Not how to test human resilience, but how to learn from it." The humans smiled. They had come to the alien ship as test subjects, but were leaving as teachers. Their resilience hadn't just impressed the aliens. It had changed how an entire galaxy understood strength. "Class begins tomorrow," Kevin said with a grin. First lesson: the power of working together. The council chamber filled with excited chatter as aliens discussed this new direction. They had started wanting to understand human limits, but instead had discovered that humans refused to accept any limits at all. And that perhaps was the greatest discovery of all.